Welcome one and all to Broken Windows. I'm your host Shadrack Manano,
Joel Oteam,
the Ugandan millennial guide through the BS.
Indeed. And today we have a Rasta. As society claims to attach this title on him. You are?
Okurut Lazarus is my name.
That's my grandfather's name.
It's my grandfather's name as well.
Okay. Now
DNA
testing needs to be done here.
True, I'd forgotten that we have a lineage kind of attachment.
African men from way back have been sowing seeds.
Sowing seeds. Came all the way from Barrel, El Gazelle.
I think you all have hair, may have no beard.
But I think
known in the streets.
Anyway, today's topic with Lazarus is based on probably I should call it society stereotypes on people with plaited hair and tattoos, plus also dress code. Whether men can also put on skirts, and we are very okay with it. Since we're okay with ladies wearing what? Trousers. I think we saw that rapper last week. Although he was doing it in tribute for someone, he wore a dress for a performance.
Even Ugandans have worn dresses. Andrew Kabura.
Yeah, but that was that was because he lost a bet.
But he wore a dress.
Yeah, he wore a dress. Anyway.
And also from what I hear, he also wears a dress. Anyway, let's continue. So man, now what is it like living a life with dreads when you walk through the street when people just stand beside without neck insurance?
Well, it's a mixed reaction really. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy. And I guess it just depends on the community that you find yourself in. For example, among the downtown people, you're very popular. You walk and everybody's like, yo, Rasta. Everybody wants to say something positive, something uplifting to you. And I don't know, I guess they feel this sense of admiration for Rastas. But when you walk among some societies again,
some spaces,
what's with this guy?
You're here bringing your friends with dreadlocks, man.
People begin touching their wallets to make sure that the dreadlock is not
true. But no one has ever turned or tried to probably think that you've changed your sexual preference. When they see that our son has decided to become
change it from what should be the question.
Change it from what? I should have asked what is your
when you go to the country, I'm an African man, so I only said it one way.
That is not a sexual preference.
Well, a sexual preference.
Yes.
Are you straight or gay?
Can you even
Team
have
A or
a
Team
sexual
B?
preference?
Hey, please.
Yes. Oh, you're not. Yeah, you can.
Oh, I didn't have, in my time, we didn't have that luxury.
Of choosing your sexual preference.
You're just dictated upon by nature.
But that is the truth. Our culture decides that from today, when you grow up, you will get a woman, you will marry her.
For me, what I want to ask you, people want something else?
We are saying.
Why are you complaining?
We are not complaining. We are just being very liberal and saying, just in case at some point in life, probably when I'm about to retire.
All my women, for me, I only want you guys. These guys, they are still here trying to choose what they want.
No, you don't ask.
No, because you guys are over dilly-dally.
No, what I was saying is that there is a way nature sets, and that is the code we follow. I don't know about deviations again. Now you are telling me about the luxury of
choice.
Yeah, but I think it is wrong for us to call homosexuality a deviation.
It's not. A deviation.
Who called you?
You said this deviation.
But we're talking about homosexuality. No, we're talking about hair. Hair on men and the way society looks at hair. Or generally just men trying to, I don't know, what is the word, beautify?
Yeah.
When you use
no,
makeup.
but actually the point that you made earlier, and I was saying that when you go to the country, yes, people are queer and go like, yo man, are you still? Haven't you gone queer?
Yes.
Yeah. And I guess it's because, again, when you're in the country, it's far different from when you're uptown. Because in town, despite these intolerances and what, but people have some bit of ideas, and in the country, it's a bit different.
It's different.
Yeah.
So that's the first assumption, that you might be queer.
Yeah, and I guess even...
And how about assumptions around the ganja?
True.
Cannabis, because that is also like sort of, it's almost a cultural, I don't know, a cultural viewpoint of of people who like have dreadlocks, men.
But I think that is why they call him Rasta.
Well,
They're just a shroom that
the thing again is
take of the plant.
the way again dreadlocks are perceived again, because you have this section. It's a whole complex way how people view it. Because again, you have this section that look upon a dread and be like, you are some guy who wants to be like Americans. So you're copycatting American lifestyle.
Yes.
True.
Other people look at you and go like, this must be some Jamaican wannabe. So once you're constructed as a Jamaican wannabe, the ganja is going to be by your side.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, in people's minds.
Yeah.
Big bomb.
That's in the
So
American.
it's not by your side.
No, they've put it by your side for
They'll
you.
put it by your side. They'll ask if you're a dealer.
They've constructed you already as.
Do you have
as-
somebody?
Not here.
Not yet. Just in case. It's always good to market. And
But I also started off by telling you that my name was Okurut, not Escobar.
True. So what I wanted to find out now, that is probably the male reaction, and also probably people up country. How do ladies take, like, what is their view? What is their view of you as
when you have better hair than them, how does that
and what,
relationship
and probably
work?
you take care of yourself so well. You're going to share their shampoo, you're going to share their oil,
Yeah.
makeup.
But again, you see also these ladies that we're talking about, they're also still products of all these different attitudes that I'm speaking about.
Yeah.
So it also matters, is this person from a religious background? Because again, in our time here, I find that people were so religious, but not spiritual.
True.
I mean, there's so much religions going about, but the spirituality of it
Is lacking.
yeah. So it again matters if somebody is coming from that religious background that is devoid of spirituality, because they will construct you in the way, because the priests don't tolerate this nonsense.
Yeah, but then one of the most admired people among the youth, Mr. Bobby Wine, he took a reverend's daughter from church when he had dreadlocks, and
He had a tattoo.
she tattooed the man's fierce on his back. This was a choir girl, so I'm trying to say that probably it also shows you that there's some women who, when they find a man who can actually take care of his hair, they look at it as responsibility.
Yeah. You see those products, like you see, even in the country, among those people that I was telling you about in the country, again you run up into people that go like, well, yeah. Oh, the boy has got it. Oh, okay, and pick up.
Yeah.
So everywhere you have this attitude, but I think it is the way somebody's mindset is in all these contexts, whether it is.
For what inspired you to grow dreadlocks?
Well, I don't think it was really an inspiration. I just think I was supposed to.
First tell us, is this
It was
your calling?
It was the calling. Was it your calling?
And this is how I say. I was just meant to, because they speak of style and people talk of style and say that style is style and style can get spoiled. And you realize that as a human being growing up, there's always an element of style going on in your own. Maybe the way you want to talk, the way I've been told that many young children as growing up, they take on
try to mimic
the swag of their father. So how the father steps it while he's walking, the young kid begins.
Showcase. Does your father have dreads?
My father?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't also tell you that my grandfather is a reverend.
Oh, the prodigal son. He's back. He's here with us. Is your name Lazarus? He's here. Yes, he's there. Your family, did your family ever stage an intervention?
On you when you went back home, probably.
But I've just told you that
Our
my
son, what is
grandfather is a
happening?
reverend.
Is that
And
right?
my grandfather is a reverend of the 1950s. So that means you're setting a I think
That means he prayed for independence.
Yeah. Up to now, he lectures me about independence and still wonders if we actually know what independence is.
No.
But the point really is this, that coming from that era, because most of the ideas that people have of our, maybe say how, because I was talking about style and art, so again, the ideas people have about how you're supposed to look and what, most of them I find are coming from, in our time in Uganda here, from strictly what we can call the colonial era. Of course, the colonial romance with Christianity is well known. So that is the kind of
The colonials
background.
were romancing Christianity. You heard it here first. Yes. But they did,
Yeah.
yes. So a lot of our perceptions on these things are sort of borrowed ideas, because I think in African societies we also kept here. A lot of culture.
Actually, you find that this colonial Christian thing is the one that keeps masquerading a lot as African culture. So guys will tell you, how can you keep such hair like that? Against African culture? No! You cannot.
And yet the Shaka Zulus.
You go to get a tattoo, somebody, what? No,
People of Sudan
out
still
of my house.
do tattoos up to now.
Yeah.
But theirs is very radical. They break a tooth or probably.
tattoo.
No, that can be.
It's not a tattoo.
Okay, it's a two or something.
But you reminded me of
But it's a
something.
body modification.
It's a body. It's a body
Yes.
modification. Yeah.
In South Africa recently, there was a storm, like about 2 or 3 years back, because girls in public schools were required to keep their hair not above a certain length.
South Africa.
So basically, like obviously, that rule only applies to black women. Black women's hair grows up.
Yeah.
And so white girls were allowed to grow hair. Some people are like, there's a problem with this issue, and people are like, no, but this is what the colonialists told us. So yeah, there's a lot in what the colonialists.
I remember.
No, but you don't need to go to South Africa. Here in Uganda, you have our girls, not only our girls, all our kids. And now, actually, for us, the men were brought up knowing that your head is supposed to be bald. But you have all our children going up to university. Our girls are begin growing hair when they're at university.
Yeah.
And we're usually told that it is better to have well-kept hair. When you shave your hair, it is easy to maintain. You're wasting time combing your hair because your hair is supposed to be ugly. You can no, so just shave it. So the effect, sometimes I amuse to myself and wonder that our girls, when they are like to campus, it's like they're just, in a sense, it's like they're just beginning to grow.
Yes,
because
they're
just beginning to grow their hair.
Yeah.
But and you said they will even tell girls funny things like, if you have hair, you can't concentrate. But then how do the girls in Gayaza and Taiba do it? Because when they're allowed to grow.
I think
yes.
I'm going to go a little science. I've not really read so much about it, but you know, there's a lot of I should call them female pheromones that are released on hair, especially when you will check when we are done. Don't put me to strict proof. Anyway, so there's that, especially when you're in a mixed school. That's why it's mostly single schools where they can allow you to grow your hair. There's that point where if a woman just touches the hair and you're next to her, you can be like, that lady is killing me. You get, she just messes up with your what? With your kneecaps and your ability to study. And that is why they concentrate a lot of paraffin in our in those bins when you're in a mixed school. They're trying to control you. But I have a colleague who is also who watches this thing very religiously. She's also around here. When I was doing clerkship, remember she had to keep her hair. And then at some point our boss was very irritated by it and tried to confront her. And her approach in telling him off, like, yo, this is my hair and this is how I want it to look. I am not here probably to be used. Not that she said that, but you know, certain farms or certain areas, they bring in a girl for probably to attract what? To attract customers and clients and what. And the way she stood up on it made me feel like, you know, this is something our girls should know. No one should be able to tell you, Oteam, no, you should not cut off your hair. I used to go bald back then. And some of my female colleagues would tell me, I don't look good when I go bald, but it's my cheapest option, you know. I don't like cutting hair 2 times a month. Why not cut
Just go bald, yes.
I would go extremely bald, by the way. And I saved enough money. I would cut this hair probably once every month instead of the orthodox or the known way of continuous.
But the guys now made their point with you.
No, I intend to go bald. By the way, for this show, I almost came bald. It's just that
we're not scared.
Probably I didn't have the money to catch. But yeah, it's cheap also. So I'm just trying to let you know that if we take up these things, and also same applies to tattoos. And as you said, there's that religious romance that came with what?
With colonialism.
With colonialism. But it's different. It's different right now. When you have, you know, they used to say your body is not a billboard and what and what. But you know, when we watch certain bands, these gospel bands, Hillsong, almost all their men are either, you know, they have bearded hair or have tattoos on them, but
Exodus. Fire.
What?
I'm going to remember the song.
No, very few gospel songs, but that is Levickson.
Yes,
Fire.
All you hear is fire. You be in the bar, they're playing gospel music at 1 a.m.
At 1 a.m.
Which I'm thinking of immoral thoughts.
Just a little bit off. I think that whole thing, that the whole adage of us trying to think that our bodies are probably certain, were supposed to look a certain way, changed. Right now, we can actually be who we are, the way we want ourselves to be. Which countries that where they're now allowed people to go to court?
Kenya.
Dreadlocks.
Kenya.
You know, and I know even Uganda soon.
But they didn't really allow it.
But
it was more a loophole.
It was more
because they recognize
Rastafari
as like an actual religion. So yeah, by default, it means you can go to court with dreadlocks. Now on the issue of makeup, there's a good pastor, one pastor, Peter Sematimba, who likes to apply a bit of oil. I feel like our culture, we don't want our men to look good. Our men are supposed to look ugly.
But that is, women like ugly men. That's why some of us don't really have women in our lives.
I see your struggle.
So it's based on that stereotype of men ugly. So us, the handsome ones, we tend to suffer.
But yes, it is very true. It's very true. In our culture, women, they feel like if a man is too kempt, then he's not busy enough.
Yeah, a girl recently told me, if a man is very organized, then what is my role in his life?
How will I buy that? So
how it needs to be.
How will I buy the hankies, the ties,
but mostly socks.
And then they will say, after all I sacrificed.
I sacrificed that man. I bought him colored socks.
But on the issue of hair, I also want to try and do like dreadlocks at one point.
But I don't
just to be like you and just do these things like why push one castranda. Like the way some people, the way women do, they just push one castranda and they sit and they wait for food.
But how like taking care of it? Is it so complicated or expensive? These are things you should tell.
Yes, we should.
I do not know. If bathing is expensive, then maybe it's expensive. But
no personal attacks were needed.
We bathe. You didn't know we have.
That's you know what actually reaches this side. There's a signpost just outside.
True. So,
but yeah. So it's just bathing. Doesn't require like special oil mixed by about what.
Well, again, we mentioned something about colonialism and whatnot, and so one of the sustaining elements about its capital. So the capitalist is always out there looking to make it cheap.
Yeah, yes. If you use these oils, your dreads will get better.
Also, if you want the hair to grow very fast, you can put this one and then American.
So those things don't work.
Well, I find that, for example, in South Africa, they take syrups for children to grow.
New information. You had this first year.
Oh, it's very good for your health, so the children grow. But I find
think
that
we should send
our children here
below 6 feet to South Africa.
No, I find that our children
take
here.
Some of the syrup.
I find that our children here are growing just as well.
Yes.
If not, maybe even better.
Yes.
So, as far as I'm concerned, my hair just the normal stuff. Soap and water, and that is it.
How long have you kept it?
This is now about 3 years now.
Word.
Long-term commitment.
Do you intend?
Have you had a girlfriend for the last 3 years?
Yeah.
The same amount of time with the hair?
No.
Hey, we're going to be like Rastafarians, are capable of keeping.
Now, capable of keeping, retaining.
Retaining the retainer for women.
But does it really explore, open up your opportunities, especially with the members of the European race? We see those guys, it's like they only see you people, as they don't see us.
They don't see us.
No, Africa is always still beaming with tourism, and there's that element of tourism. Because, there's that bodily tourism also, that's very popular.
Yes. But bodily tourism, first explain what
bodily tourism. Well, tourists fly down to explore bodies.
That is also true.
Please explore my body. Come and explore.
What's up? You're an advance today. You seem to be a broken man. But okay, women explore. This guy wants he's dying behind broken windows to actually give himself away.
Bodily tourism.
I feel like in our next episode he might just remove his shirt and be like, ladies, I am also here again.
Yeah, so in as far as that goes, that is still a very and I'm told the government makes quite a killing out of tourism. So
bodily tourism also.
No, tourism is just tourism. They don't specify that.
Okay, because our first lady has had the same haircut for 30 years. I don't think people want to come and see that. It does not change.
And they want to come and see the stability.
Yes.
Yeah. how stable this nation is. So that can still be an
And it is,
tourism.
and you tell this by her hair, as in, like, when to see that.
I have
like,
not said that.
Probably
I have not
the
said
country
that.
is so strong.
like Samson,
Yeah, true.
the first man to grow dreadlocks in the Bible.
In the Bible.
He was strong.
He was strong until Delilah cut him.
Don't let me know, man.
Actually, that's interesting that you
Uh-huh.
mentioned that, because
Lazarus, you should know.
that's interesting that you mentioned that, because really you find that this guy is they speak of him having 7 robes,
Yes,
and he's a Nazarene, right?
he's a Nazarene.
And
yes.
Jesus Christ is a Nazarene.
He's a Nazarene too.
So don't you think Jesus Christ is a dreadlock?
Yeah, but please, he must have.
That's a game changer.
That's
If
a
Jesus
game changer,
Christ had
because you know
dreadlocks,
the
it's a game
picture of
changer.
Jesus that has been portrayed for us is different. It is a certain guy with fallen hair. Hey, that guy who is, But since if we are to look at probably his origin and what
Nazarene.
he's from a group of a lot of Rastafarians.
Yeah.
That is actually a Rasta perspective.
Yes.
And I was strictly giving that as a Rasta perspective.
Yeah, no, but I'm trying to let you also know that I have accumulated a lot of knowledge in different fields.
Yes.
But I need us to know that if we actually to look at probably the origin of Jesus, this guy there's no way this guy was white.
Actually, now you see that problematizes the notion. Actually, for me, it complicates the fact then that Christianity would be used as something to check against this type of what so-called bad behavior.
Bad
now.
behavior,
Bad
yes.
behavior.
And then again, you find that where it is licensed in the church,
Yes.
it's usually from the American church. The how do you call them? The
I don't
born
know.
again or something.
Yeah. the
I
born
mean,
again
when
Christians.
you see that
the ideas.
the born again
Baptist,
guys
Orthodox,
are more welcoming to this type of like you could be a dreadlock and serve in a Pentecostal church.
Yes.
Yeah.
It may be quite hard for you to have dreadlocks and serve
in a Catholic
Catholic church.
Yeah.
Catholic church.
So it's
Catholic
rather
school
just
is very
funny how you
different,
find
yes.
that there could be these ideas in the good book, the great book. That I mean, that is the constitution of this thing, and yet this thing somehow outlaws.
Yes.
Everything.
So, and about here, our society, I want to speak on our society as well, like how we perceive here. For example, I was talking about guys and girls. And Taiba girls, these girls were allowed to grow hair, and other girls are not allowed to grow hair. And it is always on this thing that it's a distraction. Is hair a distraction? Do you ever feel like, have you missed 2 minutes of your life every day because of your hair?
I have not yet been
Please
distracted.
tell that people, tell that people. He has not missed any hair. So you can grow your hair.
I
Because
am-
we also want to be able to, like, allow people to be their truest
Be
self.
their truest self. And I
Yes.
think with your dreads now, you actually feel who you are.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm yet growing there because I find that the dread has not yet finished growing.
What is your intention? So how long do you want that dread to grow?
Well, as old as I can go.
True. My cousin, who is female, I don't want to say cousin sister because that doesn't exist.
No. Yes.
My female cousin married a guy with dreadlocks. But before, when she first brought him home, my uncle being a pastor and what, especially his wife, my auntie, was so against it. Like, no. He has to cut his things. And he stood his ground. He's like, your daughter met me like this and she fell in love with me. I don't think you guys want me to change for your daughter not to be in love with me. Because this is who I am going to be. Well, on the wedding, he came with another group of 7 Rastas who escorted him to the island.
For dramatic effect.
For dramatic,
Hello,
to emphasize that I will remain my true self in all these trials and tribulations.
Yes.
You get, because we also know about that guy who said he's the only son of his mother.
I don't know that guy.
Jero. You don't remember that? That is a by the way. But yes, the guy they caught at another man's home with a woman.
And then he said he's
He's
the
the only
only
son of his mother. But yes.
Like, why do you want to treat the woman?
Hey,
Over
why-
only son.
Hey, why do you want to
Here
get
bring
me?
spears.
And everything.
But also, I feel like the perception, maybe credit to what you were saying about earlier, Bobby Wine has also changed the ideas, the perception of people with dreadlocks and what we see can come out of them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time when people see with dreadlocks, they will assume probably like all the things we've talked about, your rasta, your what. They'll not assume that there's something
Borderline homosexual.
something you're worth listening to.
I actually love to take the other view that it actually makes you actually feel like you actually that stuff, because now when you reach a certain point, then you have to grow the self, take out the self and leave it behind, and then now become what society wants you to be.
True.
So I feel it's a it's a condemnation on the part of the honorable.
Trying to condemn and
that's how I interpret it. Like,
Yes.
That action, I read it that way. Like, well, this is some stuff of childishness,
that I
irresponsibility.
left behind now that I've gone to
Now I'm going
parliament.
to become responsible.
No,
man.
but I think that is also unfair, because now you're putting the whole responsibility of the perception around that image on him. Like, now he also can't live his life. If he wants to cut his hair and be like, I want to run for president, he can't, because the Rastafarians will be like, he has also
No, but
cut his hair.
I think the reason
Samson.
I think the reason he actually cut his hair is because of image. He was trying to maintain a certain image that people actually, because it's very easy to decampaign the product like his when you have those things without.
Then they do that. Then they post pictures of
him smoking weed and everything.
Electoral Commission, and people said they didn't know how
They
got
didn't
there.
know how exactly, but they left them there meanwhile until elections got done. Like whoever put up these things
So bad, so
is
bad.
very bad. But they will be here until we
but
find them.
strictly when we're speaking about dreadlocks, I don't think dreadlocks is strictly a Rastafarian affair.
No, it's not.
No, it's not, because even
not.
Rastas say you don't have to grow up.
Yes.
No, even that the origins of dreadlocks, that actually these guys borrow something from the continent, because they're outside of the continent.
Yes,
So you
And
know
so
the
they need
origin of
to attach.
dreadlocks.
Actually, now that's how the dreadlocks come, because I think the dreadlocks now in this other new fashion were first given to the world again by the Mau Mau
Yes.
Yeah.
during that.
Yes.
eh?
Yes.
So then the Rastas now, being that away from home, those people now that came to be called Rastas in the
Yes.
Caribbean, being away from home, you know, this longing for attachment to
their
a place that
motherland,
you feel
yeah.
that you rightfully belong, but there's nothing else to. And then the Mau Mau cause really being that cause for freeing up yourself from slavery, I mean, all these shackles. So they are clinging on to whatever they can. So then these guys borrow the dreadlocks and make of course then we now receive Bob Marley and all those guys who now make dreadlocks a whole global phenomenon. That is now why when you touch anywhere down here in Africa, you're still constructed as some guy who's borrowing ideas from
Yes.
yet you actually
Yet
use
these
your
ideas
your
are-
ideas.
What about tattoos? Would you say tattoos are actually things?
Well, because all these Africans
Turkanas still do
are
it.
artists. You see, like everything was art from when you're young. I mean, you see, even clothes. These guys used to put on maybe like put on something covering the waist, and then the upper body is designed into like a shirt or something like that. I mean, just tattoos covering the whole body,
yes.
but designed in form of a shirt or something like that. So when you see somebody, you're actually seeing like, oh, this guy is actually putting on a cloth. I mean, if you're seeing from a picture. But that is just body art and all those things that you spoke about of removing certain teeth. Because you're feeling that the teeth don't look quite. No, if you remove this one,
they
there's
don't
where they
look
will
aligned.
fit in like this, and then So they used to have all these things like earrings. You know, now in our time, if you put on an earring on your man,
As a man.
Yeah, they will. But these are things that actually existed.
Yeah. Or for example, you look at like the mini skirt. The other time when Father Lokodo said something, because again there's this mind that we've been given by this whole capitalist thing, especially as men. You have this very dirty mind walking around with you all the time.
That deep thinking.
Yes.
Actually, maybe that is the thing. So you realize when Father Lokodo just said something, there was something waiting to burst up in a certain section of men.
Yes.
So men now were using that to actually
justify
see what they
their-
wanted to see. Open that thing and we see. But you realize that before, like if you see the Zulus now, when
They would wear limited cloth.
you know, I mean, everything is really out apart from really the most
I think
lesser public of the
yes.
parts.
I think the idea around that is because I think men or patriarchy has used sort of some of these ideas to just maintain control of a certain section of society.
I don't know whether it is patriarchy.
It is because
I don't know.
But
it is a role of men on women that women are not choosing. You get, if you decide that this person should dress like this, it is really your
But for
rule.
us in Africa here, I don't think it comes down to us as patriarchy, because as the men, we don't even set these rules, African men.
Yeah.
These are rules already handed down to us from Europe. So for us, we receive it as a colonial package, not as a patriarchal
yes.
package.
Yes.
Well,
So I
that
think it is
subscription
right
has
if
not
we
run
say it's a
out.
colonial, because also our own culture has been condemned for being patriarchal.
And
Our own.
Yes.
Exactly. So if we just say that this thing was actually carried from the West and then put here, and then we're told to choose out certain things that we see suit us more than the others, then that is right, and then the other one is wrong. So we are running out of time.
But before we do you have any sort of body modifications that for you feel uncomfortable with?
Me?
Or are you naturally just an open-minded person? Sorry, because people all will naturally assume you're open-minded. That's why I've told you the other European dress, they like people with your hair, as they do not see us.
If there was such a body modification as would put a third arm to a person, or
Hey, you've ever thought this, huh?
Yeah.
I would be worried. But
So you're ready to get nipple piercings?
I mean, if the artist so deems
No,
it
that's
nice,
the kind of body modification I'm talking about. Just,
yeah,
yes.
if the artist so deems it nice, I wouldn't really see a problem with that.
Yeah, because for you all you're doing, this is art for you.
Yeah,
as,
it's
an,
just
as an
art.
African, this is artistic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been Lazarus Okurut, the man with one of the most rare names, and want to thank him for coming over. He has explained a lot. Please make sure you subscribe and grow that hair. Women, wear that mini at your...
You've not given me the greetings to carry back to Jesus.
Hey, please send Jesus our greetings when you die and resurrect again.
Yo.
Guys, make sure to subscribe. Catch you next time.
Yeah.